thank you so much for making time after in your super busy schedule, especially after Prosper. I'm sure you've done a huge amount of business there. I just wanted to say thanks for coming on to our channel and doing an interview with me. Why don't you start by telling us about what you do in the e-commerce space?
Absolutely. And first of all, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I've been excited to do this interview with you, James. So just quick about me. I've been in the Amazon space for about 5 years, although that feels like forever. I started at FeedVisor, 4.5 years ago, where we were selling repricing software to resellers. We also developed advertising tech as well for private label sellers and brands. Then I spent a little bit of time at Blue Whale Media, which was an Amazon advertising agency. Their sister company is a top 100 seller. So, I've spoken with thousands of Amazon sellers, and I have a good idea of what it's like to sell on Amazon, and I think that experience is important. Handful of months ago, I got introduced to the founding members at Accuco. I really like them. I really like their approach, their competitive advantage. Accuco is we're looking to be the largest e-commerce collection of e-commerce brands in the world. And my job as the head of sales is to help them, target those optimal brands for acquisition, right? Easy enough. And we speak with about 100 sellers a week that are potentially looking to exit. Sometimes they just want to learn about the process for when they are ready. I find that a lot of companies have gotten their business to a certain point, and they have to make a decision, right? Because what's gotten them here is not necessarily what's going to get them to continue. And so we talk through the process, and sometimes they exit and they use that cash to start a new brand, and sometimes they go retire on a beach, right? That's what I would do.
Yeah, cool. That's you must learn a lot from all those hundreds of different conversations. Certainly a lot of interesting stuff that sellers get up to before and after exiting. So about your current role though, like how in the aggregator that you're doing business with at the moment, how do you differ from other aggregators that are out there?
Yeah, we're the best. I think, when you think of the aggregator space, there's maybe 40 or 50 companies, it feels like, that are trying to go out and acquire brands. So the first and maybe most obvious barrier of entry is capital raised. So, while there are a lot of companies that are looking to acquire Amazon brands, with the amount of capital that's needed, there's really only a handful of us that have raised, over $100 million and have access to additional capital. I think the second part, and maybe most important, is the mindset, right? We don't think of ourselves as aggregators. I think when you think about aggregator, you think the goal is just to acquire brands, and once you've done that, mission accomplished. I think the goal for us is to really scale these brands, and we're Amazon operators. To do that, you really need to have the experience and the expertise, and we do at our core. One of our co-founders, Ronak, actually worked at Amazon. He was on the emerging technologies team. So he actually designed and led a lot of the new product features on Amazon. He also partnered with our other co-founder, Wiley. They've successfully launched and exited multiple FBA brands. So we've really created Accuco through the perspective of an Amazon seller. I think that gives us an advantage. And then finally, technology is a huge part of our business, right? The tech that we've developed helps us evaluate brands. It also helps us post-acquisition scale these brands.
Yeah, cool. It sounds like it's being an operator is definitely in your DNA, which is, I guess, how you, as you say, is take the brand but then scale it, right? So that's right. That's really interesting. It's really interesting that you kind of talk about yourselves that way. But just on the topic of scaling, like, what is your view on multi-channel selling, like, beyond Amazon?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, you can't be the largest collection of e-commerce brands in the world without a omni-channel strategy. So we are definitely focused. There's a huge opportunity on Amazon, but there's no secret that growing internationally and expanding onto other channels is a big strategy for us. But when we acquire a brand, we're already thinking about how can we scale it, past Amazon. In my opinion, there's two versions to this race, right? Version one is acquire a brand, right? Scale on Amazon, and then version two is beyond Amazon. I find that we're all all the aggregators the acquirers are all in a race to buy as many brands as possible. But in my opinion, the way that we're going to separate each other and the real competition starts right beyond Amazon. And in 2 to 5 years, the companies that do that the best are going to have the most success. Because of that, when we're looking to build out our team internally, we're not just looking for Amazon experts. We're really looking for people with omni-channel experience as well.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think it's certainly a very diversified view of where you see marketplace, and e-commerce in general going into the future. But brings me to my last question, Jake. So where do you see marketplace selling evolving to in the next 12 months? Like you just mentioned there, that omni-channel, but like, how do you see it? Obviously omni-channel is one way to look at the evolution of it, but what else do you see evolving? Or what do you predict is upcoming?
Yeah, I see a lot of evolution on Amazon. I think first and really important is it's a really good time to be an Amazon seller, right? There's I think 40% of e-commerce sales come from Amazon, so a lot of money being spent on Amazon. On top of that, Amazon has evolved to become more than a marketplace. It's actually a search engine, right? So 63% of searches now begin on Amazon. And on top of that, 3/4 of them are non-branded searches. So people are coming to Amazon now to discover products, especially my wife, right, who's always feels like she's browsing on Amazon, looking for new products. So I think it's a really good time to be a private label seller. What's critically important, in the next 12 to 18 months is you got to be the best advertiser, right? The best Amazon sellers will be the best advertisers. With all these people searching for products, you have to make sure they're landing on your product detail page. And then once they do, you have to have good content, right? Clear images, A+, bullet points, clear title. If your product, maybe the feature is not as obvious, really you have to tell a story on what your product does. Because Amazon is only getting harder and harder, right? There's costs are getting higher. I don't know if they're going to be coming down. 2 million Amazon sellers right now, and a new one every minute. So it's a good time, but it's only going to get more competitive. And what I see, the evolution, I think a lot of sellers are going to have to decide, do I want to reinvest in my business? Right? Do I want to hire a team? Do I want to launch new product lines? Or do I want to sell? And if they do, I hope it's the Accuco, right? Who knows, James? Maybe the next time we speak, Accuco will be triple the size.
Interesting. Yeah, look, I think the point about advertising and content is something that's echoed by a lot of people in the industry, especially especially the point about the fees increasing and the like. So yeah, look, very interesting. I'd love to talk for many hours with you, Jake, but it's in Australia here, it's getting pretty late, so we'll wrap up there. But look, if anyone's got any questions, just leave a comment, or I can connect you with Jake directly. So thanks again for joining me.
Absolutely, James. Appreciate it.